Hey guys, it's Sam here. Welcome back to the channel. I've got some updates on the process here with the reset week. This morning I went for a walk around the park and now I'm getting into eating. Didn't feel like videoing a walk, didn't think there's an awful lot to see there, and I assume you know how to walk, so we left that out and come to the cafe where they can do me a custom meal which fits my requirements for these 3 days of carnivore. So if you're just jumping into this series now, it's 3 days of carnivore for me, carnivore diet, and then 4 days of water fasting is going to follow. That's the outline plan for the week, so that I can make the most of the water fast from already depleting glycogen from having an almost zero carb diet for 3 days on the front end with extra exercise. So it's working very nicely. And the main update I've got for today is I stepped on the scale this morning. I was 282 pounds, so I'd made it to 300 pounds in that other video, and then had a diet break for a few days. So this hasn't all happened in one day, of course. It was the diet break before, which meant eating less, and then the 1 day carnivore yesterday and a bit of extra exercise now. This is a good point to explain why body weight is not a very precise thing at all, and why I don't generally use it for tracking. Because so much of your body weight is just reflective of food that's in the process of being digested, that's left in the system, going through, and how much water you're holding. And these things fluctuate a lot, especially when you make a radical change to your diet or suddenly start eating half as much. But a loss of weight like that doesn't really tell you much about body composition that you're interested in, which would be how much muscle you've got and how much body fat you've got. So I haven't been able to measure these things, but I'm quite happy. So I was expecting a big drop down from not eating as much as I was to build up to 300 pounds. Now you could ask, why did I make the series about making it to 300 pounds if I don't think body weight's that interesting or that important? And it was really just to have a short, snappy title for a series of videos on a bulking journey that would be easily relatable at a big round number like 300. But reality is it's the muscle gain that I'm looking for, not any particular body weight. It was just a challenge that I set. It was a high body weight because I was going to err on the side of potentially putting on too much body fat, because I find it harder to gain than to cut down. So it suit me to set a goal like that for the purposes of my progression and the videos series. And I got to that, and that coincided with the next phase of my year outline training, where I now want a kind of health reset, if you like, and I find carnivore amazing. It's probably what I'd do lifestyle wise if I wasn't ever trying to gain any muscle anymore. I'd have something, either carnivore diet in one of its versions or something very close to it, or I'd be on carnivore for probably 10 months of the year. That's what I would personally do as a lifestyle, because already, as well as that body weight drop that I've seen this morning, checked on the scale this morning, I've noticed that I feel very different from just 1 day of it. I feel more alert, and I feel more kind of feeling of well-being. I don't know really how to describe it. It's not that I was unwell before. You can see from my videos I was perfectly happy before, but it's like an extra kind of feeling of alertness and well-being, I could say. So I'm very much enjoying it. I like the foods, especially the steak and egg that I was cooking yesterday. What I've got them knocking me up in here is a huge omelette with 10 eggs and bacon and cheese. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and it is the first meal of the day. So another difference for me in the last few days has been actually feeling the appetite and looking forward to my meals, and that was a feeling that I've missed while overfeeding so much with an ambitious bulking gains target. It kind of means that you never really feel hungry, and without feeling hungry you don't feel like you're looking forward to your meals or truly enjoy them. You know how like your grandparents would say, like, don't spoil your appetite, like eating so much between your main meals and stuff, that there's a lot to it. I would say, I feel like when you do overeat so much or have so many frequent feedings in a day, it does spoil your appetite, and then you don't really appreciate or enjoy your meals in the way that you might like to. So I've been really enjoying eating less and actually feeling hungry before a meal, and taking that as the signal to have a meal and really enjoy it. So I'll be carrying on like this for the rest of today, into tomorrow, and then the plan was from Thursday to Sunday do water fasting. So that's when you eat nothing at all but just drink water. Doesn't mean just a period of time you eat and the rest you don't. It means fasting through the day and the night continually for those consecutive days, which is something I've done before, and it's something I'll discuss in more detail when we get to that section of the week and this series of videos. For now, I'm definitely enjoying Carnivore, and I could see myself going to a proper restaurant tomorrow, like Preto, Brazilian Rodizio Grill, where they bring all the different meats around. I think that would be a really nice treat before I go into the fasting. But it's feeling great. It's looking great as well as the change on the scale weight. I've noticed I've got a lot less stomach distension, and I'm seeing like more separation in my abs. But I don't think there's been a significant amount of body fat loss yet. I feel like that's going to come towards the end of the week, and I'll show you the difference at the end of the week. But just the omission of carbs and having less water going on has made me look a little bit more separated and a little bit closer to how I'd actually want to look. Not that I'm pursuing that right now, because I'm not getting contests ready. This is all long-term strategy for how I'll end up next year. So just nice to see something a little bit marginally closer to that in the last day or so. The monstrous omelette has just arrived. Look at that. If I just hold it on the plate there, you see how monstrous this thing is. There's 10 eggs, but it kind of looks like more because it's all bulked out with cheese and bacon. This is the amazing thing about this way of dieting, where it's just carb manipulation and the carbohydrate insulin hypothesis. You never have to go hungry. You never have to feel like you're under eating or basing your diet around all these foods that aren't even that nutritious, like rice and chicken breast and stuff like that. You're getting the most nutrient dense foods with your red meat and your eggs, occasional organ meats, fatty fish and green vegetables, and I just absolutely love it. I can get show ready without going hungry, and that's such a pleasure. So I'm going to start this thing and make some headway, and then talk about the rest of the video that's to come, because there's going to be a little shopping haul. Coming to the end of this thing now. Look. Already feel pretty full. That protein-fat combo there, just really satisfying and leave you full for hours afterwards. Well, we'll have a bit of shopping to do. How much it'll be, I do not know, because there's always the possibility of a restaurant tomorrow like Preto. But this one, it's not a cut down, it's just a health reset, kind of extreme reset week of giving my digestive system a complete break for a number of days, but adding 3 days carnivore on the front to optimize the extra fat loss that comes as a side benefit with it. So this is not me cutting down, it's just going to happen a bit as a side effect, a welcome side effect to tidy up a little bit. But this way of eating, if you are cutting down for summer, would be a good time to start now, or look at one of my other videos, like the one called Planning the Cutting Diet. I'm talking a little bit more about the low carb ways, the secret ways. They are just so effective, so much more effective than any kind of like assistance in that area as well. I sort of get loads of questions from people about things like clenbuterol, albuterol, ephedrine, more lately Ozempic, growth hormone, or even DMP. My experience has been that zero carb dieting or fasting, or a combination of both, or with like intermittent fasting fitting in with low carb or zero carb dieting, it smashes all of these drugs, like when it comes to fat loss, like way more effective, to the point that there shouldn't, if you get the hang of this, and you get really into it and you like the taste of it, and you get into that mode of making rapid progress without hunger. You wouldn't really need much, if any, assistance on the fat burning meds kind of side of things. People don't believe me when I say that. Like, I'm not trying to be a killjoy or anything. I'm not trying to make things harder. I'm genuinely trying to be helpful. Because if something is useful in that realm of things, I'll tell you. I'm not worried about talking about those sorts of things, as you know from my content so far and some of the recent videos. But yeah, that's all done. Thank you very much. Nice one. That was lovely. Thank you. But when it comes to this side of it, I have to say that my thoughts are the diet is so much more powerful than even like the exercise. It's the diet and this way of doing it is so much more effective than the optional extras, you can call them. And I think I say that in a way that should be helpful to someone, because taking those sorts of things, most people's anecdotal feedback is that they're not very pleasant. Like, they don't make you feel too good, and they make you feel kind of wired. And stuff like Clen is like a mainstay for cutting all the way down. Contest prep is, pretty commonly used, but most people report it doesn't feel too great. It has its own side effects like muscle cramps and kind of dry mouth and feeling wired or feeling tetchy, and if you don't need to feel like that to get the end result, then why would it be fun to feel like that? I'll be honest, with you guys. There's certain things within the PED realm that are fun, to put it bluntly. And all these ones that fall into assistance on fat loss don't fall into that category. So I'm trying to share info that make all this more enjoyable for you, not kind of slow your results or make things less fun. I need to wrap up this segment of the video because I'll get nothing else done for the day. I'm producing something for you here. I think the next piece will be a trip to the shops. I know that I'm stocked, and I know that I'm not going to be wanting for anything else and what I've got stocked in the house. That's an important thing with any kind of diet, actually. It's important to have everything that you need, like, stocked way in advance, so you don't fall into the temptation of just grabbing some leftovers that shouldn't even be in your house, or ordering a takeaway, or going out to somewhere because there isn't the food in. And I think if you struggle with temptations and the right and wrong foods, it can be easier to order your shopping online and everything, because the stuff on the screen is less tantalizing and tempting than actually like kind of seeing the product in real life and holding it and walking down the aisles. And I sometimes recommend that you just plan forward and order a big batch and be fully stocked, and if necessary, anything that doesn't fall into your plan that's already in the house that you shouldn't be eating, just bag it up and throw it away. Hopefully you don't need to hear that, because I feel like the dieting part shouldn't be as hard as people make it, but that could be useful to someone, and I'll see you in a second in the shop. As this is just a little one, I thought I'd go bro's eye view, because we won't be here too long. It's going to be very simple. I've already got eggs in, because I've just checked. What I'm really after is something that's a little bit leaner, so I was thinking the fish for after my workouts. What I'm looking for is sea bream or sea bass. We've got the whole ones here. That's not the leanest fish that you can get, but it's on the leaner side of things compared to my egg and my ribeye and that kind of thing. So it's going to be what I prefer to have after a workout. And it's only £7 for a couple of them, so those are coming out of the ocean and into my fridge. Obviously your fattier options of the fish would be more like your salmon, and the fattiest of all is mackerel, which I ended up having last night because I was on my own last night and I don't like it stinking out of the house if I've got company, so you've got to be careful of that with the fish. That's not pleasant. And then when we come to the red meat here, it's stuff like your fillet steak is leaner, but I prefer the last meal of the day to be the fattier one, digests slower overnight, so I have steak and egg and usually go for the fattier cuts like ribeye. So I'm not going to need more than 2 of these with the days that I've got left before the fasting. So I like to look for ones that have got a nice marbling and a kind of flat rather than bumpy, so that they tend to cook more evenly. See this, if you go for something like this here, it's all bumpy, it's going to cook a mess and not be so nice. So I have a little look through like this, and this one looks good. See, that one is more rounded at the edges. It's not going to like cook crispy evenly as the flat one I'm looking for. So I get both of those as well. Eggs, I know I've got plenty in stock, so I'm not going to look for that, but it's very simple when you're just doing carnivore. You're going to be in one aisle, so I've got the aisle that I'm in here. But even if you're eating just healthy and whole food, it tends to be all around the edges of the supermarket, and it's really once you've gone into the middle that you've gone off-piste and find all your fake food there. They've got loads of organ meats here. I have had liver recently and only have it about once a week, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm going to collect these up here. I am going to see if they've somewhere got the beef tallow for cooking in. I may not find it. We're going to have a quick look for that before I leave and then pay up. All paid up there, and I had a look for that beef tallow, but all they got is the goose fat, which is kind of what you use when you're doing the roast potatoes, and just put that on, but I don't really like the taste of it for cooking in it personally. I like the beef tallow because it's beef that I'm cooking anyway, and it just makes sure it doesn't stick, and I go for that. So probably have to look elsewhere for that another day. I haven't run out yet, just keep it stocked. I might have to head to Waitrose for something like that. It's not expensive though, you know, Waitrose, it's only a couple of quid for a jar that lasts for ages. You see me cooking with that the other day, so this is going to be enough to tide me over. I didn't buy more eggs, well stocked on those, but basically when I do carnivore I tend to have like steak and egg morning and evening, and something like fish or chicken, or something leaner basically, which I have after my workout now. I'm not working out with weights today. I had a long walk this morning, didn't include that. So the last piece of today's video is going to be a bit more cooking, so I'm going to cook something different, probably those fish, and talk about steaming food. And that'll be it for today's video. On to that next meal then. It is the sea bass. I didn't bother showing you the cooking because I just used the air fryer. I thought it was going to take too long to take it all apart to cook it through nicely with the steamer, so I'll save that for another day. Because I made the mistake of buying it there where it's still got the bones and the fins and all that stuff on it. So it's easier to cook in the air fryer, so I've just done that, which is nothing really to show, it's just putting the buttons on. Normally I get it where it's all already been sorted out and then it's easier to cook through. It's a bit nicer in the steamer, so that's what I would normally do, but I didn't want to be going in multiple shops today just for 2 days food, so I just bought this one. Well, it's actually 2 of them. I put both of them on. This will be we'll see, still got some of the bones in it, even though I pulled them out after it cooked. That was an error, but I didn't want to be going in 2 shops for just 2 days food there. So this will be the second meal of 3, but my last meal is going to be the same as the meal that I cooked up yesterday, so I shan't bother putting that on. I'll just kind of say a few more words about what to expect this week. Because already it's going down well. I wish I'd taken a set of check-in measurements at the start of this process to then measure against, because already like the waist has come down from not just being blasted out with endless amounts of previous meals and bloating and everything like that. So that would have been interesting to see how much would go down in a week, but that's a missed opportunity now. I mean, really, it's what happens from June onwards that I'm most interested in. If I've given my body a complete break from dealing with food over 4 days, which I'll be doing from Thursday. There'll be more of a workout tomorrow, somewhere. I haven't decided where. I kind of feel like a trip out and go to a different gym, and I'd sooner do that tomorrow than when the fast starts. Because I have to say, guys, I'm actually a little bit nervous about the fast. I've done them before. I've done water fasting quite a few times before. Maybe half a dozen times of at least 2 days. I've done 2 days here, 4 days there, and then a week at one point, and the longest one I ever done was 9 days straight. So I know I'm capable of it, but because I haven't done it for at least 2 years, probably closer to 3 years, thinking to do 4 days, I'm like quite apprehensive and thinking about getting all work done while getting used to it. I know it gets easier from day 3 onwards, so the first 2 days, Thursday, Friday, could be interesting. So a little bit apprehensive about that, but we've got tomorrow before I get into that. So I'm thinking tomorrow might be the best opportunity for a day out somewhere and on full energy and feeling completely normal. Well, I'm actually feeling very good on this carnivore approach, even though it's day 2. So I could be feeling really good tomorrow and make the most of it before fasting, take a trip somewhere. Any questions about these sorts of things, drop them in the comments, because I'm going to get on now to make sure I get the video out and get other work done and think about what the rest of the week has in store. So questions in the comments, subscribe if you want to keep track of all the stuff that's going to cover all of bodybuilding in the coming months rather. We've already got quite a nice library of resources I'm very proud of that I can direct people to planning their diets, being cutting or bulking, and handled loads of questions that I can refer back to. So it's coming along nicely, and the gym tours I want to take further than London in the coming months, so all that's coming up, and I look forward to any other ideas and requests as well. Cheers.